We're comparing stats. Baby girl doesn't know that I am Tom Brady at this game. Married at 18, divorced at 21. Second marriage, married at 25, divorced at 28. Third engagement, engaged at 29, ended it at 30, but I kept the ring. I'm still keeping Tom Brady on his toes. We should not be afraid to leave these men. We are not stuck with these people. Marriage is not a sanctimonious thing. It is paperwork. It's something, it's a commitment you make to someone. But if you feel like you're not getting anything from that commitment and you're trying, you gotta go. You gotta go. You have to go. I know it's difficult to fill out paperwork and to make appointments and to do all of these things, but this is your fucking life. Do you want to be stuck with someone? Period.
So, former corn actress Mia Khalifa did this video recently, sharing her wise, pure, unearthly, intelligent advice on marriage. Now, I'll try and make this video a quick one, because after this I have to go to driving lessons taught by a person who has crashed a car 3 times in the only 3 times he has driven one. And after that I have to go to get finance lessons by a person who has wasted his 3 first salaries on gambling and addictive substances and is living under a bridge with no money. But sarcasm aside, you get the point. Her advice is horrible as we could expect from someone who has failed miserably the 3 times she's attempted to secure a relationship. This philosophy that Mia and many other people like her share, that life has to be happy and easy, has ruined society from the inside. There are a lot of people out there who think that the universe revolves around them and that God himself has given them the right to deserve inherently everything good on this planet. The universe owes them unending joy simply because they were born this way. Now, sadly for them, this isn't the case, and people who think that they deserve good things all the time are the most miserable and unhappy ones. Now, this didn't used to be the case with people living centuries ago when life was harder and every sane person understood that there are challenges in life. There are ups and downs, everything good you have to fight for and achieve. But now we live in this era of instant gratification where everything is easier, everything is accessible, everything is spoon-fed to us. So you see what happens when a rich, entitled, narcissistic, empty and devoid of a soul and humility, deluded individual like Mia shares her viewpoint about marriage. It must be easy, and if I'm not getting anything out of it, or if, God forbid, I have to put effort, I'm taking myself out of the problem. And there you go, problem fixed. Just gonna find me the next best thing. This is a problem that affects mostly women, because they are the ones who have the power in dating and partner selection. A man could be equally as entitled and delusional, but that wouldn't change the fact that he can't monkey branch from one person to another. Men naturally learn through their lives that everything they want comes with a price. In order to have a good body, you have to go to the gym. In order to have a good job, you have to be competitive. In order to have friends, you have to be funny and social. In order to have a girlfriend, you have to stick out. You have to bring things to the table. Now, women also have to compete for work-related stuff. However, when it comes to dating, they have many options available. And just by taking a shower every day or two, they already have the ability to throw themselves in this abyss of delusional thinking that they can switch relationships until they get the best one. And they can make it work for a few years before their inevitable impending demise of being single forever. Because it turns out, Mia and people who think like her, that not everything in life is meant to be awarded to us by the mere fact that we think we deserve it. In fact, it's the total opposite. Everything good and long-lasting in life takes effort. Everything rewarding and beneficial takes months or even years to achieve. So the idea that you have to be perpetually happy and that other people have to constantly entertain you won't get you too far. She says, if you're not getting anything from that relationship, you gotta go. Oh, okay, Mia. Let's apply that to life, alright? I'm not getting anything out of taking care of my elderly grandma. I'd rather stay in home watching YouTube all day. I'm not getting anything out of helping a friend move out, so I'm going to let him figure by himself. I'm not getting anything out of going to the gym and sweating like an old pig, so I'd rather stay in home eating Cheetos on the sofa. What would happen if all humanity gave up on doing things the moment they become difficult or they require effort from our side? Going to the gym is tiresome, it's hard, it's not enjoyable to push yourself that much. I mean, if going to the gym didn't benefit you in the long run, nobody will be going to the gym, because it's much more enjoyable to lay on your bed swiping your phone. But the long-term benefits of having a healthy body is why people spend their time and effort doing something hard. Having a kid is no different. It's something tiresome and demanding. People spend years of sleepless nights and a great deal of their income to support a child, only for it to become an adolescent and say, "Get off my back." But the good things are in the long run. In the same way, being in a marriage is not something that should be an endless honeymoon, filled with constant laughter and tears of joy. It's a process, it's two lives merging into one. It has good days and bad days and good months and bad months. But all throughout, regardless if it's a good or bad period, you have to put effort. You have to make compromises. You have to tolerate and respect the other person. It's part of love. In the same way that you love your child even when he's keeping you up at 4 a.m. in the morning crying, even when he is going through his rebellious era, where he hates you, even when he has made bad choices, you still love him. Men usually complain about getting home after a long day of work, feeling tired, and suddenly their wife has a list of tasks for them that they find unnecessary, or they just want to rest a little, meanwhile their wife is nagging them, or talking all the time, or being mildly annoying. Women, on the other hand, complain about their husbands not paying attention to detail, or forgetting things all the time, or having to remind them 20 times to do a certain task that they promised they will do last Christmas. Not me, of course. I never forget anything and I do everything I promise I will. There is no need to remind me every 2 weeks, but that's the complaints I've heard from the female side of things. Marriage is two different people living together and taking decisions together. If you're not happy with yourself every day of your life while on your own, how do you expect another person to keep you happy every day of your life? But Mia doesn't end right here. She did another video later, confused about why people are upset about her statement. Let's watch.
We should not be afraid to leave these men. I woke up to 30,000 unalive and grape threats on Twitter today over that take, and I'm really failing to see what's wrong with it. I'm failing to see what's wrong in telling young women who get married young that if they are in relationships that are unhealthy and toxic and make them unhappy, that just because they made a commitment, they are not stuck in these relationships. The only people who are mad, it seems like to me, are the men who are the toxic ones in these relationships and who are afraid of their women having self-realization and exercising free will and leaving them.
Of course you don't understand it, Mia. You're a shallow, empty-headed, superficial, self-centered, babbling moron. So let me explain it to you. Men do not fear that women have free will. What we are concerned about is getting robbed for half the crap we've been working for years to achieve, getting our son, our daughter taken away because it's women who usually get child support no matter the circumstances. We also are concerned about losing probably 5 years of life expectancy, because of the brain damage induced by a life-sucking parasite like you. I think that if you were a man, you would understand, but of course, from your position, I understand why you're so blind and ridiculous. But let's finish the TikTok.
Because the only thing holding their relationships together is probably the fact that they made a commitment, and their religion and families fucking perpetuate that ideal that you have to stay in a relationship you committed to. You don't. If you're unhappy, get the fuck out of there.
If you are unhappy, get out of the marriage. Because in the end, it's just a commitment. It's just a fleeting sheet of paper. So what exactly do the words "till death do its part" mean to you? If you care to answer. Of course you don't, because you can't even begin to understand what actual commitment means after years of getting banged by multiple men and having many failed relationships. So you can see why an increasing number of men are walking away from marriage and from dating altogether, because they are concerned about the mere Khalifas in our society. The women who just see you as a wallet or as a clown that is on this planet to keep them entertained. Women who are always looking for the next best things that might shred your heart or take your money or your kids or your sanity. You know, they are worried about the fact that 70% of women initiate divorces, in most of the cases because of quote unquote irreconcilable differences, or because the spark is gone, or because the glitter wore off, or other fancy sentences that just hide how self-absorbed and materialistic these individuals are. If you're a man looking for a girlfriend though, hope is not lost. Don't worry, humanity will prevail in the end. Because here's the thing, I'll give you an analogy. Mia Khalifa is like a really deadly shark that has a 100% mortality rate, lurking, looking for blood, trying to find her next victim whose life she will take away. The good news is, that deadly shark has a 2-mile long fin stretching above water. So as deadly as it may be, in close scenarios, you can spot the shark from miles away and swim in the opposite direction. People like Mia can't hide how big of an asshole they are, because they wear their evilness like a badge of honor, because there is no other way they can be. They take pride in their own self-destructive behavior, because it's all they know. They can't be humble, they can't be generous, they can't think for a minute what it's like to give, to live for others. As Mia herself states, she doesn't understand why people disagree with her idiotic way of thinking, because it's the only thing she knows. She doesn't even fathom how ridiculous she sounds. So even the most manipulative of them will show his colors after a few dates, at which point you have to run for the hills. Don't give self-absorbed egoists your time, your effort, your commitment, your energy. Don't talk to them, don't buy them gifts, don't have relationships with them, don't have S3X with them, because what happens to parasites when they have no one to suck out the life out of? They die. They perish in their own misery because they have nothing good in themselves to live for. They have no good attributes and no good desires to keep them living for a cause. Their cause is to live off from others, and when you take that away from them, they realize how miserable, small, and insignificant they are. So at this point, we have to ask the question, then why did 3 men decide to marry to a world-known corn actress that has no skills to keep a relationship? Well, it's not because of her personality, that's for certain. It's not because she's pleasant to be around or because she will make for a good mother. It's because of her looks. That's it. If Mia was unattractive, no one will have married her because her personality is a 0. These 3 men decided to take all the headache just for the kitty in between her legs. So was it worth it? Don't be like these idiots. Here I have to put the blame on men. I often mention on the channel how women are accountable because they are the ones who get to choose whom they engage in a relationship with. The same goes for men. 70% of divorces are initiated by women. Then that must mean that 70% of men who get married made a poor decision regarding partner selection. There are exceptions to this, of course, but the rule stands. If you married a shallow, selfish woman with more red flags than a communist parade, you're probably gonna end up paying for it. And the problem is that men, generally, don't have self-respect. Your average Joe has so little power over who he gets to date that the first woman who crosses him and pays the slightest bit of attention to him, he will give out his whole heart to her. And we hear this disgusting phrase, "It's the best I'm going to get." If a selfish female dog is the best you're gonna get, stay single, mate. You know, rather alone than in bad company. Be a man who respects himself, value your time and your efforts, and don't give them to someone just because you're out of options. You're casting diamonds before swine. And it's easy for me to say now that I do have self-respect, but back in the day, I was a naive, green and immature boy that didn't respect himself, and I fell for this. You know, I gave my sanity to a woman who I knew from day one is a red flag, but I was too naive to walk away. And many men follow this path, some because they are simps and are only looking for looks, others because they have no self-respect and think it's the only train they can catch, others because they are naive and think that they will change her, or think that it's their mission to save a drowning person who doesn't want help. Whatever the reason, if you've made that mistake already and you've given your time to the wrong person, let that be a lesson for you in order to never repeat it. But if you haven't done that mistake yet, learn so you never will. Because intelligent people learn from their mistakes, but wise people learn from others' mistakes. Be a wise and rational man. Have discernment. Look out for the red flags. Assess people accordingly. No matter how destructive these people can be, they are easy to spot from a mile away, so you can always be safe if you respect yourself. So, to sum it all up, if you're a woman, don't follow this idea that everything in life has to be easy. Don't look for men who make up for great times, but rather for men that will be there in the hard times. There is a lot of people willing to get between your legs, but only a few that want to be by your side when you're 70 and your looks have faded away. The joy of having a family, a child, friends, or a husband isn't instant or constant. It's something that comes and goes. It's good times and bad times. But when you take a look at past years, you will find that it's an enduring sense of joy that has kept you through the bad times and has enhanced the good ones. And it's way more valuable and lasting, even everlasting, I will say, than a hookup or a false feeling of being validated by strangers who don't care about you in the slightest. And for men, learn to respect yourself. No one will if you don't do it in the first place. You may receive little to no attention at all because of the way our society works right now, but as long as you have your principles, you will never be alone. Don't engage with destructive women just because you feel mesmerized by their beauty. Don't engage with them just because you feel lonely and it's your only chance. Learn to live by yourself, with yourself. Learn to be strong. Take a look at what other men's mistakes were, and I can assure you, even the difficulties you face while living alone are nothing compared to the destruction a self-centered woman like Mia can bring upon your life. There are still good men and women out there. Both men and women spoke up against this stupid TikTok that a narcissist posted. Alright? It's not conflict between men and women. It's conflict between good people who uphold values and morals and bad people who feel like they are the center of the universe. And you can't change others. Even though parasites like Mia don't get to form a family, they still reproduce, okay? The number of delusional, self-absorbed idiots keeps increasing, so don't try to change them or bring them back to reason. Just improve yourself. Make yourself good enough to be out of this crap hole that they all fall into. And you'll be all well and good. But thank you guys for watching this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Leave me your thoughts and your comments down below. And if you think that your friends might find this video interesting, share it with them. Subscribe if you like my content, and I'll be really happy to see you next time. Have a good one.